now here on the Steve Gruber Show. Glad you're here for the conversation. My next guest, he is the Republican chair for the state of Michigan, critical swing state, former member of Congress for 18 years, former House Intelligence Committee chair, former ambassador to the Netherlands. And he's a glutton for punishment. He wants to be the chair of the Republican Party in Michigan. He does it. Pete Hoekstra with me here today. Pete, nice to see you again.
Hey, always good to be with you, Steve.
Yeah, good to have you. All right, so tonight, look, I don't think the stakes could be any higher. Razor-thin margins all around. I don't think Kamala Harris is ahead by enough to win. And Donald Trump's assignment tonight from me, let her talk. Just let her talk. They have not given her the right to speak and interrupt him, which was their plan, to interrupt him and try to quote-unquote fact-check him while he was speaking. They've taken that away from her. And she can't say, I'm speaking, and try to make him look as if he's rude. What does he need to do tonight for you?
Well, what I'm really hoping and I think expecting from Donald Trump is that he's also going to help drive the discussion and the debate. It's not going to come from the moderators. They're clearly going to be all in for Kamala Harris. So in the time that he has, 1-on-3, he's going to have to direct his own questions at Kamala Harris to try to drive the debate. He's going to have to ask the questions about, Bidenomics, which, she giggles about. He's going to have to ask the question and bring up the border. He's going to have to bring up that the fact that the first time in the history of America, we have a core group of Americans who are cheering on one of our enemies, Hamas, in the Gaza Strip. We've never seen anything like that. So those are the points where he's going to have to drive the discussion back to policy, because I think the ABC folks, and Kamala, they're all going to try to get under his skin and to try to get him. They're going to try to light him up, for him to get distracted and, make it personal rather than about policy.
Absolutely true. And the polling numbers out there, let's see. Pew Research, race tied. Harvard-Harris, race tied. New York Times, Trump +1. If that holds true, by the way, Donald Trump would win in a electoral college landslide because if he's +1, then he wins Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, the list goes on. Where do you think we really are? I mean, you're out there talking to people every day. You're in Michigan. Some of the polls say that he's behind Donald Trump by 5 or more points. The governor, by the way, laughed that off, saying that's absolutely not true. He's not losing by 5 here. It's a razor-tight race. Even Gretchen Whitmer admits that. What do you think? No,
I think the president is I think the former president, Donald Trump, I think he's ahead. Steve, there's no way this guy can there's no way that the president can be behind. The issue set, what are people talking about in Michigan? The people that I talk to, the candidates that I talk to that are out there, Mike Rogers, Tom Barrett, Paul Hudson, they say, hey, all we hear about are what? We hear about inflation. We hear about the threats to the auto industry. We hear about what's coming across the border. And on every single one of those issues, Donald Trump is ahead by a wide margin. We're going to sweep the UP, okay? Not that many people up there, but hey, that's where you start. We're going to do very well up in the Upper Peninsula. Northern rural Michigan, we're going to win all of those. It's for our job at that point is for those two areas, we've got to bring in the votes. It's get out the vote. I think in Western Michigan, again, that's a stronghold. We're going to do well. The president's going to do much better here than he did in 2020. And then you go across the state, the I-96 corridor. You get into Oakland County. We've got a great county chairman in Oakland County. They have been more active in terms of campaign activities at the county level than we have been in years. So they're stoking up Republican interest. And then you get into Macomb, Monroe counties. Those are going to be strong spots. That's the automobile industry. We're going to do fine there. And then you get into Wayne County. Well, all the indications are, hey, we're not going to win the black vote, but we're going to do much better. And, if Donald Trump gets 18, 20, 22% of the black vote coming out of Wayne County, we win, regardless of what we do in the rest of the state. But, so I think we're doing pretty well across the state.
I think that there's a lot of truth to what you say. It's Bidenomics, it's the border. And all of this news coming out of Ohio about the legal refugees and immigrants that came from Haiti, 20,000 into that town in Ohio of just 60,000, right? And so Springfield, Ohio has been overrun by legal immigrants. And Kamala Harris wanted more. Wanted to bring in more and support them, and it's a complete disaster for this town. Springfield, Ohio, you can't replace a third of the people. You can't. And expect it to be the same.
And it's not that they speak Spanish or something like that. What is it? They speak a Creole language?
Yeah, it's a Creole language. Yeah, they don't speak the language. That's correct.
So, that small community is thinking, exactly how do we handle this English as a second language, which puts all requirements on the schools for, having the proper teaching individuals and skills in the class. They can't do that. Where are they going to get the money for this?
And here's the thing. When you've got 30 kids in a classroom or whatever it might be, 25 or 30 kids, and you've got one or two that don't speak the language, the teacher's time, the teacher's aid, all the time goes to those two kids. The rest of the class suffers learning loss, and that's a problem. Anyhow, Pete, we'll have you back after the debate as well. All eyes on Philadelphia tonight. All the marbles here. Donald Trump, please, just let her talk. I don't think she can fill 2 minutes at a time. Pete, go ahead.
As we hammer towards World War III, remember tomorrow, September 11th.
That's exactly right, Pete. Thank you very much. Pete Hoekstra,
tomorrow. Thanks, Pete.
Really appreciate it. All right, we'll take a break. Yeah, 9/11 tomorrow, 23 years. 23 years later, where were you? I'll be right back.